All right, it's the Junitas Chaos TV live stream number Uxidoista, which is number 11 in English. For all of you English speakers, but Uxidoista is Suomalainen in Finnish. Today we have Pav. He's actually one of the ex-guitar players of Santa Cruz, but more importantly, he has his own debut album coming out this Friday. So we had to get him on, and let's roll that intro. Oh yes, and we actually have him in the house now, so let's invite him into the live stream immediately, as I like to say. I believe he's actually in Russia, which is actually super cool. Not too many guests normally are from Russia. Hey, there he is.
What's up, man? Hi.
How are you doing today?
All good here. It's great weather,
Yeah,
unexpectedly.
yeah. You're in Russia, right?
Yes, I am.
Very cool. And by the way, spasibo. Thank you very much for joining the live stream today. I very
Thank
much
you for having.
appreciate it. Not a problem, not a problem. You know, we had Edge of Paradise, Margarita, and Dave are in the recording studio in LA, California, and they couldn't make it on the stream today. And luckily, Hiro helped me find that you were available. And also, it works out because you have your debut album coming out
That's right.
this Friday, which is in 2 days. 2 days.
Exactly. Finally.
So, so first of all, there's so much we got to get into. And like I said, we've been DMing each other earlier today back and forth. And I was kind of just saying, you know what, we'll just save it. We'll save it for the live stream so we get, our initial reactions.
Sure.
And I was super excited. So when I found you out, I went onto your Instagram page and I started going through some of your pictures, and also you're quite active on Instagram. You're also quite active on YouTube. I think YouTube is where you're doing a lot of your
Yeah, not so much lately because I've basically been finishing the album, polishing everything. So I didn't want to just post, just to post something. So I took a little break, like 2-3 months from posting. But yeah, kind of active.
It's okay. I've been doing these live streams now. I think I've got well over 100 of them in the past couple months, and it's
Crazy.
interesting when you take off, even if you take off a day or 2 days, the way that technology and the times are going, it just feels like it's a month if you take off just a couple of days. Because
Right.
people are wanting and expecting more content from you on a normal basis. Maybe it's a little bit differently with music, but I want to talk to you about your debut album because it's very important to you, of course, and also for myself because I haven't heard any of it. Although the Instagram post that you have promoting it, I'm not sure if there's music from the album on that post. Is that true?
Yes. Yeah.
So I've heard just basically what everybody else can hear, which is what you have available now. So
Yeah.
I'm going to be looking forward to listening to the album.
I
And
actually have a couple of singles from the album released by now.
okay,
Yeah,
are,
the
are
first
there,
one was released exactly a year ago or something like that, I think.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. So these have been released a little bit a while ago, but as far as the actual meat and potatoes of the album, that's going to be coming out on Friday.
Yes. Yeah.
Great. And of course, I wasn't, like I said today, I just found out about you a few hours ago, so I wasn't able to do super much research on you, but I did manage to do some. So, and I
I
wanted to,
believe you can't really do a super research about me because, there's not much stuff out about me.
there's some things, and like, let's start off. I'm going to go through some of your Instagram photos with you.
All right.
Maybe starting a little bit further back, and we'll work our way up to the present, if you don't
Okay.
mind. I guess for starters, let's see what we got here. Yes, here's one. So
All
this
right.
from a few years ago. I guess this is, where is this, somewhere in Russia?
Yes, it's actually in Moscow, and we were having a photo shoot with my, let's say, first band, but still it wasn't like a serious band because we didn't have much gigs. But yeah, it was like probably 4 years ago or something.
Okay.
2017, I think, 3 years
Now,
ago.
are you based out of Moscow?
Um, I was actually born in not so far from Moscow, like 70 kilometers, and I've been living in Moscow in the city while going to college. I was living in Moscow for 5 years or something. Now I'm back in the village.
Okay. I've been able to make it out to Moscow once with my old band CKY. We did a show there in St. Petersburg, and I know ever
Awesome.
since I was there, I felt something really special for me personally about Russia. It's a very beautiful, amazing country. I'm sure if I got to spend more time, I would probably much appreciate to see more. But I think Moscow, in particular, for me, was really an amazing city. So it's cool to hear that you're from there, and I get to talk to you because,
But I like St. Petersburg more still.
okay, okay,
It's kind of more European, and smaller, which I like too.
that's what she said. So now we have this picture here. Now I'm just, like I
Yep.
said, going through some of the live, some of your pictures on your Instagram feed. It's just you rocking out, playing guitar, obviously. So actually, while I have you on, when did you start playing guitar?
I started playing guitar when I was, I think, 11, 12. Yeah, it's about 9 years ago I started playing guitar. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Um, and we got some, I guess you're here in this is the Redwood Forest, it looks like. So this must have been,
Yep.
obviously you've been to the US and visited.
Yep. A
Uh,
couple of times.
okay. And have you been, I'm in Finland, by the way, but have you been to
Yeah, I
Finland?
know.
I guess so,
What?
right? You've been to Finland pretty often, I guess.
Yeah, especially 2019, just back and forth
Okay.
for the whole year.
Okay. Sorry about the Instagram photos. I do my best with the technology that we have, but here's some just more pictures of you.
I didn't
We're
even know
back.
that you can do that, like pull up pictures in a live stream.
You know, I'm trying my best, and I'm getting magical and learning all the ways of Instagram, and it's pretty crazy. But
That's cool.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So here's another cool. I really like this photo. I mean, you have a lot of cool photos, and I think everybody should go onto your Instagram page if you're not following Pav, and that's also Pav. You said your full name. Can you say your full name?
Yes, it's Pavel Popov.
Pavel.
Pavel. Yeah,
Pavel.
yeah. So Pav is kind of like a short version.
Yeah, yeah. So it's okay if I call you Pav because that's kind of
Sure,
important. Yeah,
absolutely.
excellent, excellent. And this one here, I noticed that you did this, which is cool. So it was like a guitar battle.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And tell us about that because there's another photo of you actually in the battle that I'll pull up. But what was that
Well,
all about?
that's a pretty fun event. It has like, I don't know, like 12 episodes by now, I think. So the guys from St. Petersburg uh, do this thing. And actually, when the first guitar battle was released, I didn't even watch it. I just found out about it. I saw the post uh, about the release, and I just right away I just texted the guy who started this thing, and I said, just I want to do it. And he said, okay, let's find you a pair, and that's how it turned out to be.
And obviously there's you in there. I'm sorry, I'm covering up the other guy that you're battling it out. How did you do on that, by the way?
Well, I actually won, but it's a show. It doesn't matter who wins at all.
Okay. I was actually going to say, because with those shows, you're right. I was going to say it doesn't matter who wins, and like I told you, I just scrolled through your Instagram feed and I was watching. You have lots of cool videos of you playing guitar along with different music and different songs, and I right away I was just like, dude, this guy's amazing. He's shredded, great.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, yeah, of course. And I love to give. you know, it's very important when somebody does something really good. It's very important to tell them, because you work very hard at playing guitar, I can tell. So it's good to hear positive compliments when they're needed, and I always do that for everybody. It doesn't matter if you're kicking ass, you're kicking ass. So now you went to, is this Berkeley?
Yes, it is.
What were you doing there?
So actually, I won a scholarship, like a full scholarship for a 5-week program in Berkeley. Yeah, and it was a big thing for me. And I went there for 5 weeks, and I did some auditioning for other programs, and I won another scholarship for next year. So it was 2017 and then 2018. Yeah, but the second one was like a week long, just 1 week program. But yeah, it was fun.
I bet. Now, is that Berkeley in California or is that Boston?
No, it's Boston.
Yeah, because that's where I used to. I never went to Berkeley, but I used to go there a lot, and I used to practice drums in their drum tubes because I had a few friends actually that were from that went to Berkeley actually. So anyway, we have.
Yeah, a big thing because, you know, since Steve Vai went there and John Mayer, it's like, I don't know, huge dream come true.
And so tell us about this photo, because you're obviously in some sort of deep thought.
Oh, this is a great photo. It's a huge friend of mine. Her name is Alexandra, and she
Okay.
took this photo of me, and she's a very professional photographer. And we just met in kind of met in a restaurant, and she saw me and just offered some pictures for me.
Okay.
Yeah, that was great.
And I'm sorry, I am paying attention, but there's questions that I have here.
That's all right.
Because as I told you already, well, let's go through some more photos, because Hiro is a good friend that works with me actually on all these live streams, and she writes for the biggest online news publication in Japan. And also she
That's
has a
great.
blog, and Barks picks up her blog sometimes also. And she has some really good questions. I think that you guys must have met each other at the Riff in Helsinki,
Yeah.
which happens to be the go-to place if you're
Thank
traveling through Helsinki and you're a musician and you want to meet the
you.
who's of who, then you go to
Yeah.
the, because the UC from 69 Eyes, he owns that bar, and obviously
Yes.
it's a very rock and roll type of bar, and it's a fun place. But we'll get into that in a second. I just wanted to go through a few more pics of you rocking out, and this one was actually pretty, I guess. Now, are we getting into the Santa Cruz era? Is this from the
Yeah.
cruise show?
Yes.
Okay, so maybe we can talk about that, because obviously that's something that you did before your album now. So how
Right.
was that? How did you end up getting into the band Santa Cruz? Who asked
Well,
you to play?
basically, I was like a huge fan, you know, growing up,
Okay,
like from 2015 to, let's say, 2017. Yeah, I was very influenced by the band, especially by guitar playing, because, you know, it was superb. And then the band broke up, and I was, you know, pretty upset about that. And I didn't really think about, you know, auditioning for a new lineup or anything. I didn't think about that because I thought, you know, those guys have their problems right now, and I just don't want to bother. But then Archie just started, you know, liking my videos and commenting, and that's how we kind of got along. And I went to Helsinki, we hung out, and decided that we stick around together.
that's fantastic. And so I also was looking up this chart here. This is a very interesting Santa Cruz chart of all the that have been in the band and now are not in the band. And I guess you've been
I see too much names there, I think.
yeah, it's I just pulled it up on Google, so I don't super, but anyway, and here's another. I thought this was great. You know,
Yeah, I like this one.
I like that one. So I don't know. Obviously, this could be, you know, touchy subject or whatever. But whatever happened? why is it that you are not playing with Santa Cruz now?
Well, if we're not going into tiny details, I
No, I
always
don't want to go into tiny details.
yeah, I always refer to this kind of analogy that when you're in a project, in a band, you have kind of like a, or in any type of relationship, you have kind of two sides of the coin, like the benefit and the compromise.
Yeah.
And uh, when we started in the beginning, first of all, I was, being my age, I was just, learning life basically. And I was kind of a different person when we started. And there was, to me, there was a huge amount of benefit and not so big amount of compromise. But then slowly it kind of shifted, backwards, and there was like more compromise than benefit in the end. And so I couldn't just, put up with that.
Okay. So I guess they wanted you to wear certain clothing or do stuff like that. No,
Including that, but no,
okay.
it's more about personal relationship, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that was actually the first question that Hiro was wanted to ask you, because she was asking you what made you make the decision. So did you make the decision yourself to leave the band?
Yeah.
Okay. So so moving on, we have our next question from Hiro, and
All
she
right.
asked, she says your debut album is coming out this Friday. I guess you've been working on it after you left Santa Cruz. Did you, and like you said, you've already posted like a song or two um, months ago from the album, so you've been
Mhm.
working on it for quite some time. Did you make this album alone, or did you have a band or band members? That's a good question.
Yeah, so basically I started recording just exactly when I left Santa Cruz in last August. I came to Russia and I recorded this first song, which was Stone Cold City, and I released it in September. So I guess that marks the start of the work on the new album. And well, yes, I've done it by myself, and a friend of mine, Kirill Kanyaev, he mixed it. And it's basically a project of two people, me and him.
Okay.
And yeah, everything is made in a home setup, but I hope it sounds, pleasing enough to the
And
audience.
did you record the drums yourself?
No, they're actually programmed drums, but
Okay.
yeah, everything that is recorded, I recorded. Everything that's programmed, I did the programming.
Just saying, if you ever need a drummer, just let me know.
Okay, good to
But
know.
yeah, for sure. Um, let's see. We got another question from Hiro. She asks, "Are you going to?" Oh, that's a good question. Follow up. Are you going to play gigs alone, or is your goal, like, what's your goal? Like, is your goal to release the music and just kind of see what happens, or do you actually have anticipation of starting an actual band with band members and performing live?
Yeah, you actually said that really correctly. I was just the goal was to actually make an album because, it was kind of like a dream for me. I always dreamed to have a catalog of my own songs, which you can call an album and have a cover and everything. It's just about the vibe. And then just release it and see what happens. Of course, I will do my best to promote it regarding like videos and posts, and anything that can promote the record. But I don't know about the gigging actually. Well, there will probably be live streams of me alone performing the album, like playing it through. But since the situation in the world is kind of uncertain now, so I don't know if we can think about the gigs anytime soon. But if I am gigging, I will probably have a band, of course. But there's another side of gigging, which is like guitar clinics or something. If that is possible, I will probably do that alone, as everybody does.
Yeah, because that's interesting. I mean, now when you were, uh, how long were you playing? How many gigs do you think you did with Santa Cruz? You probably did like a handful.
I think I know exactly, like 14 or something.
Okay. And
Yeah.
those from what I'm looking at from pictures, they look like they were pretty decent gigs with lots of
Yeah.
people. Um,
Yeah.
Now, I'm assuming that you had a lot of fun playing those shows, and it was great to play in front of an audience and get to rock out.
Yeah.
Um,
It was great
so
on stage.
yeah, so it's a big decision. Oh, Atomic Andy's in the house. It's a big decision for you to decide that you might not necessarily want to gig. I mean, as a musician myself, I find it something that once you do it, it's kind of like addicting. Like you just want to play more and more and keep playing shows. But you seem very mature in the fact that you understand the situation with the COVID that's going on and bands.
Yep.
Sounds like you have some sort of like a game plan in the back of your mind that you want to do. And I don't know, it sounds very mature of you to talk like that. And but I'm sure that you'll probably, my guess is that you're going to want to get back out on the road eventually and play some shows because
Yeah, but I don't know how is it possible even, Santa Cruz and the gigs with Santa Cruz, they were kind of like a luck situation, right? But here, I don't know. It will, if the gigging will start, it will probably start from gigs in Russia. I don't know, like couple in half a year or something. But I don't see it very possible at this point.
I think I understand what you're saying because like I said, as a musician myself, one thing I will say is that you are, and I say this to everybody that does these live streams with me, because you are always doing, you're very active. Like you said, maybe you took a month or so away from being active on Instagram or YouTube. Doesn't matter. You've been very active. I'm sure you can start picking it back up again. You're getting your name out there, you're building your brand, and the more and more you do things, like I'm talking to you now, right? This morning I had no idea about any of this going on, and all of a sudden now we're talking to each other, and I found a really great, amazing guitar player that I might not have known if it wasn't for doing these live streams.
Thank
And
you.
that's the thing. Like the more you do these, you get yourself out there and meet people, you'll find yourself getting put into situations that you might not have ever thought about, but now you know that you're in them. Almost like the other day I was live streaming with Lizzie Hale from Hailstorm, and she was telling me, "Hey Matthew, let's do a collaboration together." It's like I would have never have thought that that would be possible, but you start talking to people, and then next thing you know, you're doing collaborations. So I
Absolutely.
I think you're on the right track for constantly putting yourself out there, and you're a very talented young musician, and you have quite some time to do everything possible. Believe me.
There's
And
there's always also this very uh, funny factor, which I think is funny, when you see a band, like a new band starts to tour, but then you figure out that this band actually exists for 10 years already or something. Yeah.
um, that's really interesting that you brought that up because I talk about this a lot. Um, there's so many. The world now, the population of the Earth, we're going deep. But
Yeah.
the population of the Earth is just growing and growing immensely. And it's very, very interesting to know that there are so many bands around this earth today that have huge followings. I'm talking hundreds of thousands, millions of people, but they're so niche that most people don't
Yeah.
know who they are. And
Yeah, it's not like in 80s or 90s. If the band is super huge like Metallica, like everybody knows it.
yeah, no, I wanted to let you talk because I think you're saying exactly what I was trying to say, and um, it's so true. So you don't need to be in Metallica today to be a
Yeah.
successful musician. You can be in a band, even if you have 30,000 like super hardcore dedicated. That's that's enough to sustain a decent career.
Yeah,
And
I think so too.
yeah, if it is, especially online, if you're selling things online, if you're getting people to watch your stuff. But it's just so amazing to hear all these different bands that I'm discovering now. I'm like, I've never heard of them. And then you ask somebody else and they're like, dude, they're like the best, coolest band ever. It didn't really do it. Like, no,
It happened.
I do. And so anyway, speaking of, one more photo because I have
Oh,
Tommy, he's
that's
going
a
to be
cool
on
one.
the show October 7th, and he was just here in Totoku the other day doing a band, uh, helping some of the bands out, and he's a cool guy, and it seems
Yeah.
like, see, I mean, you've met him from touring, I guess, right?
No, actually, this photo was taken in Moscow. And actually, my Instagram yesterday or the day before yesterday, it said that this happened exactly a year ago. So it's kind of like around this time, 1 year ago. They were playing in Moscow, and then we had a little after party after.
Okay. Well, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah. So now let's get into the good stuff. Let's get into the good stuff. Oh, actually, before we do that, I just wanted to you hear that.
I don't hear
Yeah.
anything,
Okay.
and I don't hear you either.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
anyway, I'm trying to play a
So
video.
technology doesn't let us do that.
Doesn't let us talk. I could just play it. That's no fun. But anyway, go on Pop's Instagram page. He's got his mousy slippers on, and he's playing guitar. I thought that was great. I love it.
Yeah,
So,
that was a little twist.
one question before we get into the album stuff. I mean, do you feel that because you're a very serious musician, Berkeley, you're doing, playing with Santa Cruz, which is well known for having very talented musicians. Your musicianship is second to none, as I hear. But do you find that there's room for humor in music?
Of course. Yeah.
Okay, that's really good. I like to hear that. I like to say because Frank Zappa is one of my big influences, and I really love that he likes to incorporate that because you can be super talented, but when you get too serious, right,
Yeah.
that's when the problem. Maybe in band situations, if you're in a band and the lead singer is getting too serious with the band, maybe that could be reasons why you wouldn't want to be in that band. Who knows? But I love the Mousy Slippers either way. And
Thanks.
everybody go check out the Mousy Slipper video that he has on Instagram. So here it is. Boom.
Yeah.
New album coming out 2 days, less than 2 days, a day and 3/4, let's say. Um, Tell me about the album. You already said that you kind of did everything on your own. You programmed the drums, which
Yep.
are sampled drums, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
So it's real drums. It's just that you programmed them.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us about it. What should we know? What should we expect? What you
Well,
the mic's yours.
yeah, sure. So, of course, you can expect that the album is very guitar oriented because obviously I'm a guitar player, and so there's a one instrumental song which is out as well. It's called 1995, kind of Van Halen inspired, and 8 songs with the lyrics and actual vocals. So I did vocals myself as well. It was really, really hard. Just one of the hardest, tasks I had ever done. Um, yeah. Also, there's one song on Russian, which is kind of big thing for me and a new thing. I've never tried to write lyrics on Russian, but I had this song, and I just felt that there wasn't enough twist in it, and I thought, okay, I just gotta add some exotic into it, and I wrote lyrics on Russian, and then I actually asked a guy named Evgeny Kolchin. He's a great Russian singer, and I took lessons from him, and I asked him to sing on that song, so it kind of features both of us. Yeah, but well, the album it's basically behind a black stripe. Black stripe meaning black stripe in life. So it's kind of overcoming black stripe. And I also thought that, by this time of the year, this whole pandemic will be over and it will, you know, be a theme like behind the black stripe, because, you know, it's obviously these times are not the brightest stripe on in existence of humanity, you know. And yeah, basically that's all. And the songs kind of go in the order from this moody, dark vibe to kind of like open-minded and kind of a relief.
Yeah, so we should expect maybe a mixture of emotions during the album, like a roller coaster of emotions, possibly.
Yeah, yeah. And since the songs were written in kind of different periods of my life, spread in like 2 years back, 2 or 3 years, so it's very versatile, I think.
And you said that you have, so you're, I know I was just listening, but I went a little spacey, and you are singing on the album, most of the
Yeah.
album? Okay,
Yes, I do.
that's cool. And you sort of delved into that, but I mean, how does it feel? Like, I guess when you were playing with other bands, you weren't necessarily the lead singer, but now in this project you're singing. How is that? How do you feel about that? And yeah, how do you feel about that?
Actually, I had a band where I was a lead singer, but
Okay.
first of all, it wasn't very serious band, and I wasn't being serious about my singing for a number of years until I started writing songs for this album, and I realized that I can't handle most of the parts, and I don't really know who I can ask to sing on this album, and it's just kind of made me feel really miserable, and I decided to take voice lessons. Not to say that I took many lessons, but I took a few, and it definitely helped me to figure out how this, you know, machine works better, and I figured out how to warm up properly, so it made things a lot easier, but still really hard for me. I don't know, I was recording vocals for 4 songs, including practicing those songs for, I don't know, like 3 months or something.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool that you ended up actually going the full length and getting some vocal lessons and like you said, learning how that machine works, because you know singing is completely different than guitar playing in many
Yeah,
ways.
it
Yeah,
doesn't have frets. It sucks.
yeah. There's a question in the chats, and by the way, thank you everybody for joining the chats. I didn't see any healthy farms, so hopefully people will start posting some healthy farms. Pav, I don't know if you know what a healthy farm is, but
I have no idea.
on all my live streams, we have people in the comments, they post emojis, but they post as many emojis as they can fit. So if it's a corn emoji, if it's potatoes, if it's people, whatever it may be, and they max it out. So we call it a healthy farm, and we're actually working on a healthy farm video game. So stay tuned for that. But
Okay,
there's
sounds
a
cool.
question. There's a question in the chat that says, "Is this album getting released on CD or vinyl?"
It's definitely getting released on CD, and I'm actually picking up the CDs tomorrow. But I don't know about the vinyl. It
Yeah.
depends. It depends on the demand, I guess.
Yeah, vinyl is great, especially for people that if you do like limited editions, you should be pretty good off with that. And I think that you most likely have a bunch of support, whether or not it's from the actual band itself, but I'm sure you have support from the ex members, or the fans of what's it called, Santa Cruz. I'm sure there's probably a lot of people that would be interested in this album just
I
from
guess, yeah. We'll see how it goes with the CDs and just go from there.
yeah. But either way, like you said, you're pushing forward. You're and I really can't get over the fact that you have such a mature attitude. Not that I'm trying to say you're a young kid by any means at all, but I'm just saying that you seem very put together well. You're very You have a good vision of what you're doing, and I think you're moving forward. And this is going to be one of the first things that you do moving forward. And I'm sure you're going to be working on plenty of
Yeah.
other projects, and you'll never know. But I really appreciate the fact that you came on to the live stream today, especially with, like I said, 1 or 2 hours notice. That's all we had, right? You know,
Yeah.
I was just like, come on, let's do it. And you did it, and that's so rock and roll, and I really appreciate it. And it's super fantastic to get to talk to you, and perfect timing. You have your album coming out in 2 days. I will be definitely one to download that or go. I guess it'll probably be released also on like Spotify and YouTube.
Of course. Of
Yeah.
course.
So we can all listen to that. Also, do you have merchandise by any way or no? Is it just your business?
Yes, there will be merch, like t-shirts.
All right. This is a very important thing that, if you don't mind, I'm going to say. It's not that you're trying to sell merchandise. It's more that right now, like you said, the music business is very tough. Lots of venues that you play in are closing. 300, 500 seat venues, they're all closing down because the bands aren't playing. And right now, everybody that's a fan of music, the best thing that you can do, if you like Pov's album and you like his songs, don't just listen to them, but also share them with your friends. Like, tell your friends about it. Because the more people that are going to help him out, then some of those people might buy some of your merchandise. And for every one person that buys any band, I don't care if you're Amorphous, if you're Rolling Stone, well, maybe Rolling Stone's not so much, but if you're in a big band, medium-sized band, small band, it helps so much when one person listens to your songs and buys your merchandise, and in return, it's like one big circle. Because
Yeah.
when they're able to get fans and have support and keep making great music, then they can get back into the venues, which in return supports the venues. So now the venues can have people coming to see the shows so they don't have to close. And we don't want to lose live music.
Yeah. It's actually crazy. I felt uh like really good about the bands that tour, like before this whole pandemic happened, and I thought they were lucky, you know, for touring and everything. But now I feel sorry for the bands that have been touring and now left with no touring. Like, to me personally, nothing really changed because, you know, my main income comes from teaching, so that, you know, remained the same. But yeah, I feel really sorry for everyone who lost their tours. That sucks big time.
Yeah, that does suck. It certainly does. But I also know from talking with like people like Lena Scissorhands and Marty Ray and Flat Earth and Temple Balls and Shirazlane, all these bands, doesn't matter where you are, Italy, America, Finland, Sweden, if you're just going to take that and say, oh, this sucks, and not do anything, well, then that's what you're going to do. But a lot of these people, they don't do that. They go on YouTube. They start their own YouTube channels. They go on live streams. They write songs. They release music. These are all the things that we can do, and they're keeping themselves relevant. Like I said to you in the beginning, you're keeping your name relevant. You're building your brand by just doing things like posting videos of you shredding on guitar. Is running low. So, but anyway, I was just saying that those are the things that you can do and that you're doing, that we're all doing here. And yeah, so that's my little rant. I think I had a couple rants during your stream. I apologize. I talk a lot. I'm from the
It's all
US,
right.
so Americans are always talking a lot. But of course, привет, привет. I'm sorry, spasibo. So I said hi. It's wrong. Spasibo.
Yep.
Thank you in Russian. And we should end the stream here. So is there anything that you want to say before we end the stream?
Just once again, I want to thank you for having me and for what you're doing for, you know, musicians. These interviews are awesome. I'm personally a huge fan of interviews. I watch them all the time. So yeah, thank you once again.
Oh, of course, and thank you for joining me. And everybody, check out the new album. It's coming out on Friday. Download it, share it with your friends. Comment too, and tell Pop if you like it or if you don't like it. He wants to know.
Yes, please.
The more interaction that we get, the more we can make changes or better things or worse things or whatever you guys want. Who knows? But comment
Absolutely.
it, check it out, and absolutely 100% thank you very much. At the end of every stream, I normally like to say, I will see you on the next stream. Rock and roll. Say bye-bye.
Anytime. Peace.